Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for watching. We are right here in the studio of IMM Media, Radio and Television. There is a breaking news. We are really getting that the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya, will be going back to Cameroon after all the pressure, all the news coming of his passing and everything. We have finally had information coming from Yaoundé at the presidency that the president is going to return home to Cameroon. Okay, the news read that le président de la République, son Excellence Paul Biya, rejoint sa terre natale ce mercredi 16 octobre 2024 après un séjour en Occident. Après des rencontres fructueuses pour le Cameroun, le président Paul Biya fait un retour triomphal au berceau de nos ancêtres, cabinet civil. That is the message that they sent. They said Biya is going to return after this is 45 days. And normally that is a law that says that Biya has to return 45 days. If not, there will be issue of political instability, the issue of power dynamics, the issue of the public sentiment was changing. You know, had it been he stayed more, even the functioning of the government was not, it was not functioning well. You understand when then the international relations, the media were already talking about a long absence and so on and so forth. There was the issue of power transition, how the issue coming up where you see the political succession, crisis response, the military influence. Those are things that you see when the president is incapacitated, because it's only after the transition of power that you have something that is befitting of a country, right? The absence of Biya has made most people understand that the least thing Biya should do is to leave that country the way he wanted to leave it, like that. He has tested the waters. Okay, you cannot put the country into chaos and you die and go without fixing it. It doesn't work like that. Okay, it doesn't work like that. The fact that the public sentiment was growing, there was going to, first of all, if Biya dies, there's going to be a political instability. Okay, the power dynamic is going to change. Okay, the public sentiment is the same thing. Even the response from other countries, the diplomatic community, everything is not the same. It's not going to be the same, because a new president is going to change things, right? But let's think for a second. In a country where they have presidency, you're asking yourself, why do they have prime minister? Prime minister in countries is only when there is a king or queen. That is when you have prime minister. That prime minister is answerable to both the president and the king. But in a country where there is no king and queen, why do you have prime minister in the first place? Why don't you have president? Because if you look at the situation where the people of Southern Cameroon are faced today, right? There's no talk about if the next president can even come from Ambazonia, for the example of a power sharing situation. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, take for example, if there was a vice president, why should you put the prime minister in the fit position to take over power if you say you are sharing power with the people of Ambazonia? Take for example, if Paul Biya dies today, who is next in line? It's not the prime minister. It's not the prime minister. If there was a vice president, it would automatically be the vice president to take power. But it's not. Now we hear that Biya is coming. We have heard all the news of his coming. But we have to understand it's not the same, right? It's not the same. It's not the same. So anything that you hear, you know that is about power changing hands from Biya and going to the sun, or power changing hand. Okay. But who is supposed to get those power when Biya leaves? It's not the prime minister. Who is the person? This is the person that is going to take power when Biya is not there. Nyat Jifendi. This is Biya's constitutional successor. Marcel Nyat Jifendi. Okay. But imagine the age of this person does not allow him to be capable of running the country. So who is going to be next? It's going to be the president, the first vice president of the La Republic Senate, right? And is the person that we know is Abubakari Abdullahi, is the first vice president. Okay, so the question is, if Paul Biya is not there, that's the chain of command. If the first vice president cannot take it, the president of the speaker of the National Assembly. See how far. So after that, that's when the prime minister comes in. That's the only Southern Cameroon person, Ambazonia, that you know when you say the power hierarchy. That's the only person. Power hierarchy. Prime Minister is the number 5 to be considered if Biya dies today. So look at the dynamics of that thing, right? There's much to that, because then the Paul Biya is the one to prepare for the sun, bypassing all the other line of succession. Okay, and that is what we are seeing, and some people don't understand that is what is happening, right? And that's what's going to happen.
Hi everyone, let's talk about the growing concern surrounding Cameroon's President Paul Biya, who has been in power since 1982. He hasn't been seen in public for weeks, foiling rumors about his health, and yes, some even say that he may have passed away. But here's the thing. Despite President Biya's prolonged absence, some of his supporters are trying to shift public opinion and ignore what the Constitution of Cameroon actually says. Take Minister Paul Atanganji's Territorial Administration Minister, for instance. He claimed that President Biya is an institution and even prohibited public discussions about his health, violating the same constitution which guarantees free speech. Yes, you as a Cameroonian, you do have the right to talk about your own president. I also have.
Mimi Mefo is right there, right? The Nyat is the one to take over power when in the case of absence, because Biya has been out of the country. According to the law, it's 45 days. 40 to 45 days that Biya can stay outside. If not, he'll be replaced. Okay, but how someone like Atanganji? I don't think if that man knows the law of that country. I don't know if he has even read the law of that country. Instead of telling people the whereabouts of the president of La Republic, you are instead telling people to shut up their mouth. How? I mean, the people have the right to ask for the whereabouts of their president. Is their president? Is Mr. Atanganji? That president is not your president. Is the people's president that they've elected. So when they're asking for the whereabouts of the president, it's their right and due diligence. And the Constitution said that. That's what Mimi Mefo is saying. So whoever is trying to intimidate the people like Tanganji, or try to use force on the people, or try to mistreat stop them from expression of their right. That is not what the constitution says. Mr. Ataganji should know that better. Let's listen to Mimi before say continue.
The right to talk about the president. And then there's Professor Mesanga Nyamdin. He recently said that if President Biya doesn't run in the next election, let me quote him, we've already got a list of the 13 people ready to replace him, with Rene Emmanuel Sadi at the top. Seriously? This completely ignores the fact that the president hasn't been seen since September 8th and the current realities of his absence. But here's the truth. Cameroon's 1996 constitution, which was later amended in 2008, has a clear plan for situations like this. If the president is temporarily unavailable, he can delegate his powers to the prime minister, head of government, for short-term situations like medical treatment or diplomatic trips.
So, as you can hear, that 120 days is the time that the president of the Constitutional Council has to assign someone. Okay, is the president of the Constitutional Council who's going to assign someone. Okay, and they are the one to declare the president non-capable of running anymore, or incapacitated. That's the word. So the thing that Ataganji is saying there, that's not how the constitution works. You cannot ban people from the thing that they have to say is that, oh, our president is this is ill, or is this, or that's what you have to tell people. You cannot threaten the people against that. Okay, Ataganji should know the constitution better. Okay, and when they say 180 days, 120 days is the time that the interim president and gonna be announced who is gonna be either Nyat or the first vice of the Senate, right? Nyat is the president of the Senate. The first vice is there. After the first vice, before you can move now to the next level. Okay, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly. Then he has the President of the Constitutional Council, then the Prime Minister. That's how far the Prime Minister is. So when you talk of power sharing and power, there's no power thing, all that nonsense that they are saying there. Okay, these people, they greed. That thing they say, oh, they're gonna put an Anglophone president, and forget about it. Power is very sweet, and don't expect anybody to give you that power. It doesn't work like that. Keep listening to me, Mefo.
This time, we are not talking about temporary absence. That is because the president has been absent for a long time. As such, if the president's absence continues or the president passes away, Article 6 comes into play. This is for a permanent vacancy, whether due to death, resignation, or permanent incapacity. In that case, Senate President, currently who is Nyat Njifendi, becomes interim president. And if he cannot step in, which is very, very likely given his age, this is his picture and health condition, one of the five vice presidents will take over, starting with the first vice president, Abubakari Abdullahi, who is in the north.
Yeah, so that's the thing that Baby Mefo is explaining there. And it's true, because the Constitutional Council is the one to have a smooth transition. They're the one to control, they're the one to take charge of the country, run a smooth, free and fair election, because at the age of 91, what do you think Biya can do again? Okay. But the situation is, people think that the only way that Biya can leave power is when Biya dies, which is not correct, which is not true. The health, that's why they are trying to tell the people that Biya's health is strong. Because normally when they say incapacitated, dead or incapacitated, it means that Biya must not die to leave power. The fact that he's ill, he cannot carry out his duties, he cannot do it, he's not supposed to be president. As simple as that. Like, that's a constitution. It's not somebody saying you tell Atakanji that he should go and read the Cameroon constitution. This has nothing to do with anybody. Nobody is saying anything about anybody. This is about the constitution of Cameroon. After 120 days, they have to announce the prepare for election. Then the interim president is the one preparing the election for smooth transition. And the person that can do it after Nyat, who is also almost incapacitated, is the first vice president, who is the Abdullahi Abubakar guy from North. But that is how the trend goes. Okay. So this is not about somebody talking about somebody. This has nothing to do with that. Okay. When you want to talk constitution, talk constitution. It's not the threat, all those things that that guy is doing, that is nonsense. Okay. No amount of threat to stop people from asking about the president. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Yes. This is what Ambassador Thibaut Nagy said. Okay. This is what he said. He said, any expert out there on Cameroon's constitution, what does it say about succession in the case the president leaves office? By whatever means. Okay, by whatever means, it means that whether die or alive, dead or alive, right? Before finishing the full term. Who takes over and how soon are new elections required? Assuming the government will follow the constitution. That is what we are talking about. Assume the government will follow the constitution. Who will take over? That is what we just try to explain here, that the constitutions give power to the Constitutional Council to announce. Okay, Clement Atangana is the president of that Constitutional Council from Biya's village. You think that he can announce that thing? So Biya can even stay there even for the next 2-3 months. This guy will never announce it. Atangana.
And here's another key point.
This is the guy, president of the Constitutional Council. This is him, Clement Atangana. Do you think he will announce that Biya is incapacitated? No way. That's why they put their own person there. Biya is very wise. You think that Biya doesn't know what he's doing? This guy will never announce anything, so just forget.
More than 40 or 45 days without.
He will never announce that Biya is incapacitated.
À qui le peuple camerounais a confié les clés de la maison commune. Paul.
Yeah, exactly what Mimifo just said. But that is the issue that we are talking about. Now we hear that Biya is coming. This is the information that we gather. Then Andre Luka Meka, communicator and activist of the CPDM, affirmed that the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, will return to Cameroon tomorrow, Wednesday. That is the news that we are gathering. But this is the same thing that we have been hearing all this while. This one is saying, oh, he's the one doing this, But I mean, when something is getting out of hand, you have to understand. Okay? But that is the situation now. And if Biya does not return, what happens? There will be a power vacuum. Okay? But you know what the CPGM and the gangs they are trying to do? They want to change power. Father to son. You remember Robert Mugabe handed to the son, Mangwana. Remember Omar Bongo handed to the son Ali Bongo. Remember the Nasingbe Iyadema handed to Forat Nasingbe in Togo. Idris Deby handed to Muhammad Idris Deby of Chad. Father to son. That is what Biya and the CPGM clan they want to do. But if you Cameroonians, you want to allow that father to son, you have yourself to blame, because when Frank Biya comes in, Frank Biya will stay for another 20 years. Who knows, 40, 30 years, who knows? But that is the thing. Do you want that kind of transition again? I will say no. Okay. 7 years. Cameroon is the only country with 7-year term. You cannot have 7-year term. America has 4. Some countries, France has 5. But they are allowing other countries in Africa to have 7-year term. 7 years is not short, it's long. How can you give accountability? The shorter the better. America is 4. Some presidents don't even cannot rule 2 times. They rule the first time, the second time they'll be, because of too much scrutiny, accountability, and everything. But that's what we want. The same father to son relationship, that father to son handing over power, is the same thing that has been happening in other countries too. That is what they want to do in there. Muammar Gaddafi handed to Saif al-Islam Gaddafi. Fidel Castro handed to the son Raul Castro. The same thing. Ali Abdallah Saleh even handed it to Ahmed Ali Saleh of Yemen. The same father to son relationship. Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-sung, Kim Jong-il, North Korea, the same. Do you want that to happen like it happened in Chad, where Idris Deby handed it to the son, or where Eyadema handed it to the son in Togo? Omar Bongo in Gabon, the same thing. Robert Mugabe, Zimbabwe. Ferdinand Ndaye handed it to the son, Pierre Nkurunziza Ndaye of Benin. If you want that to happen, it's going to happen in your own eyes, because that's what the plan of the CPGM is. Okay? But for the people of Ambazonia, this is for you. Do you think when it comes to the arrest of Ayabacho in Norway against crime humanity, how many crimes has the CPGM regime committed on our people? That Ayaba's crime can be so grievous that they're going to arrest Ayaba. Think of it. You know that there's a political manipulations going on. Okay? And if we cannot understand the gimmicks going on, if the international community was so just, they could not arrest Ayok Tabe and they stay quiet. They could not kill our people. So many of our people are dying. The international community stay quiet. Do we want justice? Let me read what one of our very strong activists, Abdul Karim, said. Okay, I'll just read a short note of it. Dr. Cho's case in Oslo highlights the importance of consistency in applying international humanitarian law standard. Okay, it's crucial to recognize the hypocrisy in Western system, just like what I just mentioned. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on. If our people for 8 years, we have seen massacre, we have seen killings, we have seen mass graves, we have seen burning of villages, burning of houses, burning of hospitals, burning of schools. Who committed those crimes? Who is supposed to be charged of those crimes? Is it us, the Amazonian people, defending their homeland, or it's the other way around? You have the answer. Think of it before you start pointing finger at other people. Stay blessed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are watching through YouTube, make sure you subscribe to this channel on Facebook, YouTube, and also on other platforms like TikTok, okay, and Instagram. Okay, thank you for watching, and God bless you. God bless Ambazonia.